We're gonna let her fly. Wow, 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 wow. Woo! That's gnarly.
I've been working on my commercial license for a little while now, slowly building up my hours, flying around family and friends in my plane. But there's one flight I've been putting off for quite a while, and that's my 300 nautical mile commercial cross-country flight. Up to that point, I had gotten close to that magic number, but I never quite got to 300 nautical miles. But the weather finally opened up, and it was time to get this flight done. The plan was to go from my home airport of Valleyfield up to Victoriaville, southwest of Quebec City, fuel up, and then head up the St. Lawrence River to the beautiful Charlevoix region. Then I would keep going northeast to Baie-Comeau. If I managed to pull it off, it would give me 326 nautical miles and therefore fulfill the requirements for the commercial license cross-country. So off I went.
Everything is still in the green. Airspeed is alive. Already 50 miles an hour. Stop. 50. 60. And she wants to fly. We're gonna let her. We're gonna keep the nose down. We're gonna trim forwards.
After taking off, the first order of business was to get clearance into the Montreal Class C terminal airspace. If they approved, that would give me a more direct route and shave a good amount of time off my flight.
Terminal de Montréal, ici Piper Cherokee Foxtrot Charlie Foxtrot Kilo, bon matin.
Charlie Foxtrot Kilo, Montréal, on a affiché dans la 2993 vos intentions.
On affiche dans, j'aimerais un direct pour Victoriaville à 3500 pieds dès que possible pour Charlie Foxtrot Kilo.
Foxtrot Kilo, demeurez au sud de l'autoroute 30, montez 2500 pieds pour l'instant.
Roger, 2600 pieds, Charlie Foxtrot Kilo, merci. We're lucky. They took us this morning. Sometimes they're too busy and they don't want any VFR traffic going through the terminal airspace. So they told us we're going to stay on the south side of Highway 30. It's the main highway that's on the south shore of Montreal. So essentially we're just going to, it's not going to be a perfect direct, but we're going to be close enough. So it's going to be faster. And we're going to go to 2,500 feet.
I always prefer getting flight following when around the Montreal area. There's a lot of flight school traffic and our traffic advisory frequency gets pretty jammed up. So a nice heads up from ATC regarding traffic is always welcome.
Charlie Foxtrot Kilo, trafic 1h04 min, direction nord-ouest, affiche 1800 pieds, c'est non vérifié.
Roger, on regarde pour le trafic Charlie Foxtrot Kilo. Alright, so there is, I have a traffic, 1800, over there.
Being on a VFR flight plan, I was still 100% responsible for avoiding other traffic, but it was nice to have an idea of where to look. It's a big sky out there, but you'd be surprised to learn how many mid-air collisions there are in a year.
Charlie Foxtrot Kilo, vous êtes dégagé du trafic.
Roger, Charlie Foxtrot Kilo.
Charlie Foxtrot Kilo, montez 3500 pieds.
3005, Charlie Foxtrot Kilo. I'm happy they gave us direct because we're saving, we're going to save about 10 minutes.
Charlie Foxtrot Kilo, contactez le centre de Montréal sur 13235.
13235, merci, Charlie Foxtrot Kilo. Centre de Montréal, ici Charlie Foxtrot Kilo, bon matin.
Foxtrot Charlie Foxtrot Kilo, centre de Montréal, bon matin. 3500 pieds pour Victoriaville est approuvé.
Roger, merci beaucoup, Charlie Foxtrot Kilo. So they approved me. I have flight following for the remainder of the first leg, which is great.
After flying through the Montreal terminal, I was handed off to Montreal Centre until I reached Victoriaville. I had made this flight a few times before, so I was still in familiar territory.
Unicom de Victoriaville, Foxtrot Charlie, Foxtrot Kilo, bon matin.
Bon matin, Unicom Victoriaville, les vents 230 à 8, altimètre 2990, soyez avisés, j'ai un trafic qui va s'engager sur la piste 24 imminent.
I wasn't the only one that decided to fly that day, but we were able to sort out the sequencing and I joined the circuit with no problems.
Trafic de Victoriaville, Foxtrot Charlie, Foxtrot Kilo, je tourne en base, 24 arrêt complet.
Even when the winds are directly down the runway, there's always some weird mechanical turbulence at this airport. I don't think I've ever had a perfectly smooth landing here, and by the work I was putting in while on final, I don't think today was going to be any different.
All right. 5 minutes late on the flight plan.
All right, guys, so we made it. First leg done. So now we're gonna fuel up, close the flight plan, and then I'm going to file another one. All right, let's do this. All right, so we just fueled up, and now I'm just on the line to file a flight plan, and we're gonna go to Charlevoix. So that's the plan. That's where we're going. All right.
Avec de Victoriaville, Foxtrot Charlie, Foxtrot Kilo, je m'enligne piste 2-4 pour décollage immédiat. No one on the downwind, no one else on the pattern, no one on the radio. It's mandatory frequency here, so technically, they should have to announce themselves. IC24, IC24. All right, we're gonna apply the brace. We're gonna go full power. Wind is straight on our nose, so that's good. All right, foot on the ground, and here we go. All right, airspeed is alive. Instruments are still in the green. 60 miles an hour. She wants to fly. We'll let her. And we're off the ground. Very nice, very nice, very nice. Get that airspeed right.
Taking off from Victoriaville was where the real challenge was about to start. I hadn't flown further east than this airport yet, and this was now unfamiliar territory to me. And like the Montreal region, I now had to contact Quebec City Terminal to fly through their airspace.
Terminal de Québec, Foxtrot Charlie, Foxtrot Kilo, bonjour.
Foxtrot Charlie, Foxtrot Kilo, Terminal de Québec, affiché IDEM.
On affiche IDEM, Foxtrot Charlie, Foxtrot Kilo. J'aimerais un direct pour Charlevoix à 5500 au travers de la zone si possible.
Charlie, Foxtrot Kilo, vous êtes identifié et confirmez votre altitude.
Présentement 4000 pieds, Charlie Foxtrot Kilo.
Charlie, Foxtrot Kilo, Roger. L'altimètre 298 mètres, 5500 pieds vers Charlevoix, approuvé.
Merci, 5005 vers Charlevoix, Charlie Foxtrot Kilo.
Roger.
It's kind of crazy still to think that
Transport 860, proceed direct Dyson on course.
I'm a pilot
Direct
now.
Dyson on course, Transport 860. Roger.
Crazy to me. Still can't believe it. I still can't believe I'm a pilot.
It was nice to see Quebec City from the air, and it turns out flying through Quebec Terminal was as easy as flying the Montreal Class C, but just with a lot less traffic.
Charlie, Foxtrot Kilo, les services horaires sont terminés. Contactez fréquence de route et bonne journée.
Merci, Charlie Foxtrot Kilo. All right, so we're approaching our second destination. We're coming in, losing altitude. I was at 5,000. I need to drop down to 2,000 to join mid-downwind for a 1-4, about 6 nautical miles out, so we have some time. I have runway in sight.
Charlevoix Airport sits in arguably one of the most beautiful regions of Quebec, right on the edge of the St. Lawrence River. Despite its amazing views, the runway does have one downside. That is that it's facing the wrong way compared to the prevailing winds. Knowing this, I was expecting to deal with some crosswind on this landing. And oh boy, did those winds not disappoint.
Avec de Charlevoix, Foxtrot Charlie, Foxtrot Kilo, on tourne en base 1-4 arrêt complet. Oh wow, this is gorgeous. I should have put a little bit more power on that one. Woo! Avec de Charlevoix, Foxtrot Charlie, Foxtrot Kilo, va remonter là, 1-4. Oh, that was kind of squirrely. Yeah. That was very crosswind, and more so than the guy said it was. Not my best, but we'll work on it.
Okay, I just want to bring up a point right here. I think a lot of people edit out their struggles from the videos to maintain that illusion that they're rock star pilots. But I think that's a mistake. You know, not every landing is going to be perfect, and no one should feel ashamed of that. The most important thing is that you walk away having learned something, and in my case, I can say that my crosswind landings have gotten way better since.
Alright, so we made it. We are in Charlevoix, beautiful place. The runway just leads right onto the St. Lawrence River. So we're gonna go in, we're gonna get our close our flight plan, and we're going to essentially get our logbook signed, and then we're gonna go from there.
A few moments later.
Charlie Foxtrot Kilo, information pour Charlevoix, le vent 260 à 7 nœuds, rafale à 14 altitude.
You see that face right there? Yeah, that's the face of a guy who knows it's going to be a bumpy takeoff.
Foot on the ground. Okay, airspeed's alive. Instruments in the green. 60 miles an hour. She wants to fly. We're gonna let her fly. Wow, 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 wow. Woo! That's gnarly. That was gnarly. Wow, wow, wow. Gnarly, 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 gnarly.
That had been one of the bumpiest takeoffs I had ever done. I think the combination of gusty crosswinds with the surrounding mountains really didn't help. But once I got up to a decent altitude, things calmed down quite a bit.
Trafic de Charlevoix, Foxtrot Charlie, Foxtrot Kilo, 2700 pieds à 2 nautiques directement au nord-est des installations. Je vais grimper pour 3500 dirigé vers Bécomo.
After departing Charlevoix, I tried to get flight following for the last leg of my trip. Unfortunately, radar coverage wasn't great in that area and my little Cherokee wouldn't have been able to climb high enough for ATC to see me on their screens. So I stayed low and followed the North Shore, making sure I stayed within gliding distance of the only main road that followed the river. I might have also lost my mind temporarily being alone on my plane for so long. After what felt like an eternity with no traffic on the comms, I finally had Baie-Comeau Airport in sight.
Montjoli Radio, Foxtrot Charlie, Foxtrot Kilo, on intègre mi-vent arrière 28. Montjoli Radio, Foxtrot Charlie, Foxtrot Kilo, on tourne en finale 28.
I was really keen on redeeming myself after my poor landing in Charlevoix. The winds here were much more favorable and I felt my final approach was much better. I just had a bit of problem getting the plane over to the left as much as I wanted to so that I could hit that center line, but touchdown itself was much better, so I'll consider that a win. And with that landing, 4 hours, 26 minutes of flight time and 326 nautical miles, I had completed my mission.
Montjoli Radio, Foxtrot Charlie, Foxtrot Kilo, piste 28 dégagé.
You can't see it in my face because the batteries in the other camera died. However, I was extremely happy to complete the trip. This was now the furthest I had flown my plane and I knew it marked the beginning of an even greater adventure. But no time to party just yet. I still had to fuel up, get the logbook signed, and then try to beat the sunset home. Thanks for coming along for the flight, and here are a few other of my videos for you to check out. The adventure is just getting started, and I'll see you on the next one. Fly safe.